I know you're waiting, so let's do it. Jets, Jets. I'm taking a knee this year on the entire NFL, even my beloved Jets, all out of respect for Colin Kaepernick, and you should do the same. Keapernick. There's a collusion going on. He's being held out. He's not given a fair shot. These NFL teams are just skipping over him because of his political views. Now, I just read an article from, who is this? Michael McCann of Sports Illustrated. And he went through the whole concept of collusion. And the thing about this is that he doesn't really have a case. I believe it's Article 17 of the CBA anti-collusion provision, that unless he can find some hardcore evidence, basically, he's out of luck. So what does that mean? That means that we as consumers, we as people, we have to stand up. We have to show our economic power and not support the NFL. It's as simple as that. Let me just put this out there. I didn't really agree with the whole thing of kneeling because I didn't really see his agenda. I thought maybe it was kind of symbolic, but that's neither here nor there. He stood up for you, he stood up for me. So here's an analogy. I'm getting jumped out in the street and Colin Kaepernick comes out there and he helps me. But now he's being jumped and I see him and I walk away. That's what happened when we go out there and we watch the NFL ticket and we dying to watch our Sunday football game. We worrying about the Raiders moving to Vegas because they want some more millions of dollars. But Colin Kaepernick, the guy who basically sacrificed his earnings, his NFL career, where they said 1 out of every 4,000 high school athletes make it to the pros, and he's actually a quarterback at that level, and a pretty damn good one. May not be the greatest in the NFL, but he's pretty good. And for him to be ostracized and not given a fair shot because he stood up for black people, and if we don't have enough within ourselves to fight back, there's a problem with that. Just listen to this right here. Here's I have a list of NFL quarterbacks who got signed this offseason. And if you know anything about football, you ask yourself, is Colin Kaepernick not better than? Here's the names: Chase Daniels, Aaron Murray, Kellen Moore, E.J. Emanuel, Josh Johnson, Geno Smith, Mark Sanchez, Matt Barkley, Landry Jones, Josh McNown, now with my Jets, Brian Hoyer, Nick Foles, Casey Keenum, Mike Glennon. These are the names of, I believe that was 14 quarterbacks that got signed, not named Colin Kaepernick. Now you could say Glennon, you can say Foles, you can make a case for Hoyer if you want, but you can't tell me all those guys right there deserve a job over Colin Kaepernick. And there's a bigger issue for me, or I can't say a bigger issue. There's another thing that we have to think about. You remember the Kurt Floods of the world. You remember the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Muhammad Alis. The Muhammad Alis. We're not going to get another one like that because we allow things like this to happen to people that stand up for black issues and black rights, or just that's boisterous about being done incorrectly. Let me look down my list here. And this is not the first time it happened. Craig Hodges. Some of y'all know, some of y'all may not know. Craig Hodges won a championship with the Chicago Bulls. 3-point shooting champion. He was an advocate for black rights. After they won the NBA championship, they all go to the White House like they normally do. He goes in the White House in the dashiki. And he has a letter that he hands to one of his staff members, you know, detailing some of the issues that's going on in Black America that he wished that the president could address. So he didn't want to give it to the president, have Secret Service probably tackle him, so he gave it to somebody else so they could pass it along. Next coming year, what happened? Craig Hodges can't get a job. A guy who helped the Chicago Bulls win a championship, a guy who was a three-point shooting marksman, not saying that, you know, he was great at anything like that, but to say he can't get a job with that type of resume, that's hard to fathom. And I remember being a young guy, and I'm like, man, what happened to Craig Hodges? And you don't even think too much about it. Now, what happens with the next wave of players in the NBA that maybe want to be or speak their mind about what's going on? They probably say to themselves, I don't want to be Craig Hodges. I don't want to have that happen to me. Such a small, minute number of players can make it to that level, make it to pros, and you work your life and you dream your aspirations and you decide to speak up for injustices that you view that's happening to your people, and then you have it all taken away from you just like that. Chris Jackson, you know, aka Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, you know, hopefully I said that right. You know, he started praying during the national anthem, you know, going to his fast, praying, all this stuff. You know, and Mahmoud was Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, he was a pretty good player. But once he went through that, he was ostracized, you know, being booed. After a couple of years, he was out the NBA. So it happened before. You know, Barry Bonds complained about it as well. When you talk about Major League Baseball, it could be, you know, I believe Bonds was like 44 years old. You know, maybe it's something else. But a lot of teams just, you know, maybe they don't want the heat. Maybe they weren't about being politically ostracized. I'm going to go at a different angle. But let me just look at this right here. Colin Kaepernick, he has a 90.7 quarterback rating last year. 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's not bad numbers. So he replaced Blake Babbert, right? And Blake had 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Colin came in there through 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You know, and that 90.7% quarterback rating, his rating is higher than Tyrod Taylor, Phillip Rivers, Carson Palmer, Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Blake Bortles, and Cam Newton, if you know him, right? And then you hear some of these lame excuses for the reason why he's not being signed. They're not saying, oh, you know, we don't want any political heat or anything like that. The excuses that you hear is that he wants too much money. To claim to have, for that to be a claim that he wants too much money, that means that they spoke to him or his agent. From what's being said is nobody's even reaching out. Nobody's returning phone calls. So it can't be that. His agent quickly refuted that. Then you hear another story came out saying that because of his vegan diet, they don't want to sign him. Google NFL quarterbacks that's on vegan diets, and you're going to see a name of Tom Brady, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL in history. Currently, the great Tom Brady, but he says almost vegan diet, right? So why would the NFL owners not want somebody like Colin Kaepernick on their team? Is it because of heat? Maybe. What type of heat? Political heat? You really believe so? You gotta look at the NFL owners. This is basically the old boys network. These are not the guys you're going to run into in your local supermarket. So don't think about it's a white thing. So a lot of white guys maybe out there, white people, think that this is a anti-white message that's going on. It's not. It's not. It's an elitist. It's a classist thing that's going on. Average American, average person is not going to walk and run into, you know, some of these owners. Let me see the name of these owners here. You know, Paul Allen, $15 billion guy. Like Paul Allen, you're gonna run into him at your local Olive Garden? Who else you got here? You got, I'm not gonna go through everybody, but Stephen Ross, you know, Stephen Ross, you'll say 4.8 billion. The Glazier family at 4.5 billion. You know, the Jets, we got, what is it, Woody Johnson, you know, Johnson & Johnson. They're around 3 billion. Jerry Jones, 3 billion. You know, the Tisch family, you know, 2.9 billion. You know, these are not some bums here. So I wonder, do they, the pressure and the heat that they don't want to feel, is that from their country club friends saying, hey, you signed that Colin Kaepernick? Because it can't be from, what type of political heat are you really going to have? It's an old boys network where this is their game, and they choose to let people play. They choose to let us watch it. But we can't play that game. We can't play that game at all. Colin Kaepernick, he supported black people. He stood out there for black people. You know what else? He stood up for women. He stood up for the underprivileged. Why do I say this? I'm gonna list some of the charities that he's known to donate it to. You know, so when I look at Colin Kaepernick, I could look at Silicon Valley Debug, Just Cause. You know, Just Cause is stopping the forced displacement and eviction of 100 black Latino working class families in the Bay Area. Urban Underground, Mothers Against Police Brutality, Black Youth Project, Gathering for Justice. These are different organizations that he's donating his funds to. Communities Under the Police Reform, I Will Not Die Young Campaign, Standing Rock, Appetite for Change, Southsiders Organized to Unite and Liberation, Black Veterans for Social Justice. You know, that's for homeless black vets, you know, helping them getting their rent taken care of. The Center for Reproductive Rights, you know, that's to help fund litigation for women that's having their rights infringed upon. The Coalition for Human Immigrants' Right of Los Angeles. Meals on Wheels. This guy's giving up his money. Somalia, what's this? Famine relief.
Amazing news. Turkish Airlines granted us an airplane to fly to Somalia, a 60-ton cargo plane, so we can fly there with food, with water for these people. Now we've started a GoFundMe page to allow anyone to help us donate food, donate water. We'll make sure every cent goes to helping these people. This is a victory for the people. This is a victory for the people of Somalia. It was done out of love, out of respect for these people. We wanted to bring structure to this, so now we're going to use the name Love Army for Somalia. So use the hashtag Love Army for Somalia, and this is amazing. Let's keep building, let's keep going.
Now this guy's doing all of this. He's giving away money, giving up his time, giving up his resources, sacrificing himself for us. When I say us, it's a collective group. You saying it's black and white. I'm saying this is a class system. This is the rich. And we may never see that group. And this is what, and if you can't give up your NFL ticket, you can't give that direct TV subscription just because you wanted to see the red zone. If you want to watch them NFL clips. So you gotta sit back and say, do I love myself? Do I love black people, or do I love the NFL? This is a message to black people. You wonder why other nations, you wonder why other people have zero respect for us, because we do not respect ourselves. How can they? How can they? Why would they? Colin Kaepernick standing up for us, but we don't want to give up our goddamn NFL ticket. We don't want to give up that one day on Sunday for something that you live with all your life. Think about that. is the enjoyment of football. And trust me, I love football. I'm a Jet fan majority of my life. But what do I respect more? What that kid did or what the Jets do on Sunday? Colin Kaepernick showed me more, even though I didn't agree with his tactics. But God damn it, that's like my little brother getting jumped in the street. I mean, I agree with him, but I ain't gonna let them jump him. I ain't gonna let him get beat down like that. And me as one person, I'll take away my viewership. I don't got an Arbitron or Nielsen box on my television. But I ain't gonna be buying no NFL paraphernalia. And you gotta do the same thing. As a group, we stand strong. People always say black people don't stand together. We divided. And this is a simple thing. People care more about the Raiders going to Las Vegas than this kid being treated like that. So think about that. Reason why we don't have black leadership? Why? You have a kid that stood up here. Even if you didn't agree with him, he was doing that for you. So do something for him and do something for yourself. Take a knee, forfeit this year in the NFL if Colin Kaepernick is not treated right and given a legitimate contract or a contract at all.